Hi, it's Brian, and today we're going to set up motion compensation using a Quest. So first we need to install the virtual desktop streamer. Links will be in the description. And this is assuming you have virtual desktop installed on your Quest from the Quest store. This will also work on a Pico, so the Pico store. And I'm not going to launch it immediately. I need to create a new shortcut. So I'm browsing to where the virtual desktop streamer was installed to. Creating a new shortcut on the desktop. And then I want to edit that, the properties of that shortcut. And at the end, I need to add /disable render pose. And from now on, this is the shortcut that I will use to launch Virtual Desktop Streamer. So in the settings, I want to disable start with Windows. And then I'll just add my Oculus username into the settings and save. Next, I'm going to move over to Game Engine, and in Game Engine, I will connect to the device and then go to any game and then select the motion compensation sidebar item, install OpenVR drivers, and make sure that motion compensation and the Your Virtual Tracker are installed. And you'll see here I'm using a Quest, so I'm already connected using Virtual Desktop. And you can see here the virtual tracker is visible, but it's not in the correct location. So we need to just stop, reconnect so everything's clean. I'm going to pick no limits. I'm going to start the Your device. And then what I need to do is recenter within the Oculus VR layer. So that's holding, I've opened the dashboard here, but essentially you need to hold the Oculus button when your head is in the center of the chair. I put it against the back of the chair so the distance is always correct, and making sure that I'm looking directly forward. So then I press and hold the Oculus button. And then after that, straight away, I go to the Steam VR desktop, which is the equivalent button on the other controller. And I need to recenter the view. And when I'm doing this, I haven't moved my head from when I had it back in the center of the chair looking forward. And that should result in an aligned virtual tracker that currently is on the floor. And so now we're going to go back into Game Engine. And within Game Engine, we go to the motion compensation settings and we need to set the head distance and the height. So Yaw has some recommendations about what values you need here. And what I'm entering here is actually incorrect for a quick example, but I have some screenshots coming up with their suggested values. So this is defining what the center of rotation is for the Yaw. So the head distance is the distance back away from the center of rotation, and the height is the height from the floor to the center of rotation. So if you have your Yaw on a platform, your height will need to be higher than the values shown in the screenshots that are about to appear. So I incorrectly tested with 82 centimeters when it should have been 80 centimeters because I have a 3DOF Yaw 2. Okay, so my correct values were 15 and 80. But now, so now when I recenter and I look down, you'll see that, well, you can't really see because it's hard to show it in a screen, but the Yaw tracker is now up higher. It's a little bit above my bottom in the chair, and it's slightly forward, and that's the center of rotation. So if the blue line is not aligned centered properly, you can use settings within YawVR MC. But what I'm doing here is I'm again using the Oculus recenter, then the Steam recenter to try and line it up. And you'll see shortly I go into YawVR MC and I explain how to adjust the Yaw axis within YawVR MC. Okay, so now in OpenVR Motion Compensation, you can adjust the Yaw value in the settings here, and that will rotate the blue line of the Yaw virtual tracker. And what you can do is you can look straight forward and open and close your left and right eye, and the blue line will jump either side of the white SteamVR line. And then you can use the rotation to make it so that when it jumps, it's the same amount either side of the white line. But it's much better to not have any adjustments here and just try and align it using a combination of the Oculus centering and then SteamVR centering. So now I'm going to go back and load No Limits. So I'm making sure that it's started the device, and then I'm going to start the plugin, which will open No Limits in VR. And this is a quick example with incorrect values that I used earlier. And the key point here is that as I move around the track turning, if I'm looking directly down at my seat, you'll see that you can see I'm moving position on the seat, and that means that I don't have the values correct. So it's most noticeable when you turn around corners because your body will slide sideways on the seat. Hopefully you can see there that the bars, protection bars, are moving across the side of the screen, and I'm moving backwards in the seat as well. So this is just a really short example, and now I'm going to switch to the correct values, which is 15 and 80 for me, and I'm going to go on a much faster track. And as soon as the carriage loads, I open OVRMC and enable motion compensation. And you'll see now that my position in the visual, like background image, is staying centered properly. Even as I turn around, nothing's moving sideways. It looks quite accurate. And for the complete ride on this track, it stayed correct for me. I'm yet to see whether over time I'll get some drift, but again, you can use the recentering to remedy that if it happens. Once you have the values correct, the values shouldn't change. That is, unless you change the position of the seat. The other thing is that your hands will, as you go around the track, your hands in VR will go to weird positions around you. What I've found is as you come back to the start of the track, you'll see that your hands get back to the correct position. So as I'm waving in front of me, they're actually in front of me. All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next video.